Saluditos mi gente de Lucha Libre Online, que es la que hay, les habla Isa, la Demon Diva, y hoy me encuentro aquí con este talento de Impact Wrestling, Steve Maclin. Thank you so much for your time and for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you on. And I wanted to start by just, first of all, thanking you for your service. I know you are a former Marine. I have a very soft spot in my heart for Marines. My nephew is currently deployed somewhere in the middle of the ocean right now. So I want to thank you for your service and for what you did for our country.
No, thank you. And thank you for his service too.
Now, I wanted to ask you, because I find this super interesting. I always have a lot of conversations with him about the training and the discipline that they teach you guys there with the Marine Corps. How have you been able to incorporate that into pro wrestling? You were trained to be a killer machine. How do you bring that into pro wrestling? Were you able to use some of the things that you learned through Marine, training into pro wrestling?
Yeah, most of it's kind of more the discipline side, and obviously with the wrestling business, it's a lot of hurry up and wait, and so is in the military. Everything is hurry up and get there, and that's just kind of how it works. But yeah, a lot of it has helped me, and especially when I started out training, with having the discipline and the patience and understanding the fundamentals. Just like when you go to boot camp, you're learning how to tie your boots, how to put your pants on again, how to put a blouse on, cover on properly. And you're learning how to paint by numbers and then eventually grow into what you become. And that's the same in pro wrestling. I've kind of found over the past 10 years that's very relatable. Like, you always go back to your fundamentals and find what works for you.
Is pro wrestling something you always wanted to do, even when you were, with the Marine or going through other career choices in your life?
I grew up a diehard fan. My parents both worked day and night shifts, so I hung out with my grandparents a lot. And my grandmother was a big wrestling fan. She loved Roddy Piper and Andre. So it was kind of inevitable. Like, I just sat there and watched. And then I remember seeing Ultimate Warrior, and I was like, wow, I want to do this when I'm older. And then the older I got, fell in love with Bret Hart, fell in love with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And me and my friends would always wrestle in the backyard, hanging out with our action figures, playing around. And then when I was home on leave in 2009, 2010 timeframe, after my first deployment, I met Darren Young. One of my friends was on the Independence. He goes, hey, one of my buddies from WWE is here. You want to meet him and talk to him? I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I? Like, this is awesome.
Right.
Fred and I sat and had a conversation, and he's like, keep this in the back of your mind, but like, you have a good backstory and a good look, and you could possibly do this. Mm-hmm. And here I am. I'm like, there's no way. I was like, I'm not 6'5". I'm not jacked like Hulk Hogan. I don't look like Stone Cold or The Undertaker. I'm not the size of the Big Show. There's no way a guy like my size would be able to do it. And wrestling has changed completely to more of the sports entertainment and evolved. And it's not about the big, larger than life characters. We portray larger than life characters, but it's really evolved into something else, more of the sports entertainment and athleticism, which I love. And I got out of the Marine Corps, and then that's when I got into a ring and I fell in love with it.
So you knew, right? That was your moment where you knew this is what I'm going to pursue.
When I went to the Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And my stepdad, he was there at one of my first shows, and he knew this was it. Like, I know he saw something in me while I was performing in one of my first matches, which was probably awful. I know it was awful. Usually are at the beginning. But he goes, is this something you want to do? And I was like, yes. He goes, all right, if you're going to do it, you got to go all in. And that was it.
That's incredible. I love that story. And you know what my favorite thing about what you said is how much the industry has changed. How important is it to you to portray a character or somebody that people watching wrestling today can relate to? Somebody like, I'll give you an example. Even my nephew, I was telling him, like, you'd be a great wrestler. He's like, I'm 5'11". And I'm like, it doesn't matter anymore. So how important it is to you to bring that now to the people, to the kids watching you now, looking up to you, saying, hey, maybe I could do this. Is that something that you think about when you're working on your character?
Not really. I try to portray realism as much as I can and suspend a little disbelief with my work and try to make it look as real as possible and give the best show that I can while I'm out there and treat it as if I was sitting in the front row. And William Regal was one of the first people that kind of told me when at the Performance Center when I was there, like, if like one of his early teachings of just like, if you were a kid, what would you want to watch? If you were sitting front row, like, how would you? And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. That's one of those things that always kind of stuck with me. And I just try to be the best that I can, give everything I have in the ring every time I'm performing. And hopefully that's portrayed to fans. And hopefully maybe that does get one kid, even if it's just one kid, maybe it lets them show that they can do this as well.
That's incredible. Now, you did mention, and it was literally next on my notes, that you train at the world famous Monster Factory. Talk to me about your time there, learning this craft, learning this new skill. And was there anybody that you graduated with in your class, any notorious names that you got to learn wrestling with?
Not really. I was one of the first students to get, I was technically the first student to get signed once the Monster Factory kind of started building.
Wow.
Danny Cage, taking it over from Larry Sharp, but Bill Wiles was there. Blue Meanie would show up. Currently, Punishment Martinez, Damian Priest. Now he was there. Matt Riddle came after me, and it's just one of those things where I showed up, I busted my butt. I worked every day. I tried to learn my craft. And one of the first things I was told was, if you can sell and bump and feed and make somebody look good, you'll have a job. So that's where I learned my fundamentals, and I just built off of that.
And of course, we know that after that, you did have a period of time with WWE. You were doing some incredible things with WWE. And there we know, the biggest thing was the Forgotten Sons. And I wanted to ask you about your transition in WWE, being part of a tag team. And then you move on from WWE, and you're doing excellent right now as a solos performer. Do you prefer one or the other? What's the difference on how you are, portraying your character out on Impact as a solos compared to in a tag team?
I enjoy both. Tag team wrestling, it's its own gimmick match as well, where you work with your partner, and that's telling the story there. Is everything is based off of you and your tag partner, and as well as the opponents. Compared to a singles, it's just you out there. But I do miss tag wrestling. I had so much fun in my time there. I learned a lot, and that's the one thing I take away from my time in WWE. And I know people are like, "Oh, you must be bitter and hate that place." It's like, no, I learned a lot. I perfected my craft there, and it taught me how to wrestle TV, how to do everything back behind the scenes, and learn and watch cameras and learn how to work the cameras properly, and just how to talk and pitch ideas. And now here I am at Impact Wrestling, getting ready for Barbed Wire Massacre at Victory Road. It's one of those things where it's just, I'm showing the world what I wasn't able to showcase there, but I know I had there, and now I'm able to do it and take the opportunity that Impact Wrestling does give me.
Yeah, you went to Impact Wrestling right in 2021, and you just have not stopped since. I think Impact is doing some incredible things. You guys are busy. We have Bound for Glory, which is coming up on October 7 in Albany, New York. Tickets are available on Ticketmaster.com. But most importantly, on September 23rd, Victory Road in Nashville, Tennessee. Tickets are available in ImpactWrestling.com and on pay-per-view on Fight TV. Now there, we're going to be able to see you in a triple threat Barbed Wire Massacre match against Moose and Sami Callihan. I don't even know how to ask you, how do you prepare for this? Is there a strategy to go into a Barbed Wire Massacre match? Like, even the name just petrifies me.
That's just it. There's no preparing for it. You just know that it's got massacre in it, and it's got barbed wire. So I know I'm going to be cut. I know I'm going to bleed. We're going to take some time off our careers probably with this type of match, but I know the three of us want to go out there and give the best show possible at Victory Road. And I get the benefit of being in the ring with two former world champions in Sami Callihan and Moose, but then I also have the benefit of beating two former world champions.
Now we think you've been having a interesting conversations, you can say, with Moose recently on Impact. Are you guys working together a strategy? What's going on here?
Everybody keeps asking us that question. You're, like I said, you're too dumb to go into something like this if you're not trying to create an alliance into a triple threat match, because there's two opponents in there and everybody wants to win. So that's the goal. I
see. You're just trying to set yourself up in a successful way, one way or another.
After Victory Road with Barbed Wire Massacre, my eyes are set on that world title. So
that was going to be my next question. Your time at Impact has been absolutely incredible. What has been so far your favorite feud or match that you've had so far? And then we'll talk about your future.
I enjoyed my feud with Trey Miguel. Obviously, I came up on the end on that one of the losing end at Hard to Kill, but I really enjoyed the work we got to do together and tell that story the way we wanted to. And it was fun to create the vibe between us, and he and I have good chemistry, and it was a lot of fun. but then also my match at Rebellion of beating Chris Sabin and Jay White on the same night. I was very proud of that moment, and working with those two was very fun.
And now you mentioned the world title is in your sights. What else? Is there a dream match that you still haven't gotten to have in Impact that you would like to have? And obviously we know you're going to go for that world title, but what else are your aspirations moving forward with Impact?
Hopefully at Bound for Glory. I know it's Eddie Edwards versus Josh Alexander, so my eyes are on that match, and I'm hoping Josh holds on to that title, because that's the match I've been wanting, and I know the fans want. Quietly have been saying that they want that match, but now it's been talked about more, and I know he wants that match, and he's talked about me as well, and I think that'll happen down the road, whether it's for the title or not. But that's one of my goals of opponent and within Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to kill it, actually. I can't wait to see that match. Now, it's that within Impact Wrestling, let's say that we live in a dream world where you could book any match in the world. Who will be your dream opponent?
So focused on Bound for Glory and watching that title.
As you should be.
Barbed wire match. I know I've said it, like Darby Allin, if AEW would be one of those matches I would like to have. I really enjoy his work. And then I would love to have a rematch with Jay White as well, but in Japan would be a dream for me.
That would actually be absolutely incredible. I love the Darby Allin choice. What do you enjoy about his work? What is it that catches your eye when he's wrestling?
Just he's reckless abandonment, and very much similar to me on that. He's just giving it all. He's putting his body on the line, and that's, I think, the one thing I respect most out of that. And I think that would make for good chemistry and for a good match.
Okay, I agree. Now, before I ask you about Diana and your life at home, first of all, I want to wish a happy belated birthday to Oliver, your dog. I saw you guys were just celebrating Oliver's birthday.
Here are those people. We celebrate our birthday.
No, I do too. And I was telling Michael, I was like, I'm going to ask him about it, because I throw little parties for my dog who's on my lap as we speak. So I wanted to know if you guys, what do you guys do to celebrate?
We normally get the bigger cupcakes for Fitz and Honey home as well, but we bought the little size cupcakes for them just because Oliver's a wiener dog, little dachshund. Mm-hmm. So little bandana on that. It was his birthday, and he actually wore his hat for a while, which is very fun to watch. He's just so entertaining. I never thought I was going to be a little dog lover because I had Honey, and once she had Fitzgerald, we both wanted another dog. And last November, we were like, let's get another dog. And then a little family.
Now, with life on the road, both of you doing incredible work right now. How does that work with the doggies? Do you have a care? You have a dog sitter? And I know that is a word. I have one. You guys take them on the road with you? How is that working out for you?
We have a dog sitter. There's a great family that lives close to us that they consider the Bark House, and they take care of our dogs. And our dogs love going there as well. They just show up and they're happy to go there. Chelsea and Matt Cardona also leave their dogs, Dude and Walt, there. So it's like the cousins sleep over and they all get to hang out. It's fun. Our family help out a lot. Come down to Orlando sometimes to stay at the house with the dogs if we're both on the road.
Which dog is going to be the ring bearer at the wedding? That's my question.
Our dogs are not involved at the wedding. We
That's probably the safe selection.
I got shut down. She said no. I'm like, oh, I just want them there. So the way we got to include them in the wedding now is we have our own special drinks on the menu for the bar. So Honey has her own cocktail, and then Fitz has his own cocktail. That's Deanna's. Honey is mine. And then Oliver, we did a mix of our own drinks. So they're kind of included.
Oh, they're going to be there no matter what, right?
They'll be there in spirit.
How challenging is wedding planning while doing what you guys do for a living, which includes being on the road so much?
I give that all to Deanna. She's the best. She's my rock. So she takes care of all that. And but she'll be like, hey, what do you think of this? Even though she's already made the decision, she still include me. But we're working on together on everything, and I try to help as much as I can, and also stay out of the way as much as I can so I don't bother her. But it's been a lot of fun.
Well, you know what they say. Behind every great man, there's a great woman, and you definitely have one there with you. I love Deanna and everything that she's doing as well.
Thank you. Yeah, no, she's the best. Why marry her? She's my best friend. So,
how does she feel about the barbed wire massacre match?
She said, "Just leave. Just please take care of this. No cuts." Other than that,
You could probably be like a stunt double in Hollywood for like Steven and Mel. Has anybody told you that?
I have been told that a few times. I would love, if you ever needed a stunt double at heels, I would love to go. But I know he's loving wrestling as well. So I know that.
I was gonna tell you, it might not be a stunt double situation. You might get to wrestle him the way that things are going for him.
I would love it. That'd be a great
Me too. Me too, Steve. I want to thank you so much for your time, for joining us here on Lucha Libre Online. Would you like to tell the people watching you where they can follow you on social media and keep up with everything that you're doing?
You can follow me at Steve Maclin on Twitter and Instagram, at Pro Wrestling Tees, Steve Maclin Store, and shop Impact Deals as well for Steve Maclin.
I will definitely be watching the madness of this match at Victory Road. Again, that is on September 23rd in Nashville, Tennessee. Tickets are available on impactwrestling.com, and you can find it on pay-per-view on Fight TV. You can catch Impact Wrestling every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much, Steve, once again. And to all the people watching us on Lucha Libre Online, adios.